Imagine you are boarding a flight back to the United States, feeling happy and excited to return home after spending time with family overseas, but suddenly you are stopped at the airport and informed that your green card may not be valid anymore. This is not just a scary thought. In 2026, this situation is becoming a real experience for thousands of green card holders. A major change in U.S. immigration policy is currently taking place, and if you are a permanent resident, the information in this video could help protect you from permanently losing your green card. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you will fully understand what rules are changing, who will be affected, and most importantly, what actions you must take immediately to safeguard your residency status. Welcome back to Immigration Desk, your trusted source for the newest and most reliable immigration updates coming directly from the United States. Our mission is to break down complicated immigration laws into simple and practical guidance that helps you secure your legal status and future in America. If you are visiting this channel for the first time, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications because immigration policies are changing faster than ever before, and Immigration Desk is committed to keeping you informed at every step. Today, we are covering an extremely urgent topic that impacts millions of green card holders worldwide. New travel enforcement rules introduced in 2026 have the potential to place your permanent resident status at serious risk without any warning. Let's first understand what is currently happening. At the beginning of 2026, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, working together with U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, began enforcing stricter rules regarding the continuous residence requirement for green card holders. Many permanent residents assume that once they receive a green card and travel occasionally, they are safe. However, U.S. immigration law has always required green card holders to maintain the United States as their primary place of residence. In the past, enforcement of this rule was inconsistent, but now the situation has changed significantly. Immigration officers are using advanced monitoring technology and data analysis systems to track how much time green card holders spend outside the United States, and enforcement has become stricter than ever before. One major rule that is creating concern among permanent residents states that if you stay outside the United States for more than 6 months during a single trip, immigration officers may assume that you have abandoned your permanent resident status. This does not automatically cancel your green card, but it shifts the responsibility onto you to prove that you never intended to give up your U.S. residence. The situation becomes even more complicated because even if each of your trips is shorter than 6 months, immigration officers can still question your intentions if your overall travel pattern shows that you spend more time abroad than inside the United States. The biggest difference in 2026 is the advanced technology and information sharing that immigration authorities now use. Officers have immediate access to your entry and exit records, tax filings, employment details, property ownership, and even your family's residential location. When you arrive at a U.S. port of entry, officers can review your complete travel history and residential connections within seconds. This means that even if you technically follow the 6-month travel rule, your overall travel pattern could still raise concerns and lead to secondary inspection or even legal proceedings related to abandonment of permanent residence. Real-life examples of this situation are already happening at airports across the United States. For example, a green card holder living in California regularly traveled to India for 4 to 5 months each year to care for elderly parents. She always returned before completing 6 months abroad and believed she was following immigration rules. However, in February 2026, when she arrived at San Francisco International Airport, immigration officers reviewed her travel history and discovered she had spent nearly 60% of the previous 3 years outside the United States. She was given the option to voluntarily surrender her green card or face removal proceedings. Although she challenged the decision, she faced expensive legal costs and months of uncertainty about her future. Another example involves a green cardholder employed by an international company who was assigned to work in Singapore for 8 months. He believed that working for a U.S. company and paying U.S. taxes would protect his status. However, immigration officers questioned whether he truly maintained the United States as his primary residence. Even though he maintained an apartment and vehicle registration in New York, his limited physical presence and lack of strong family ties in the United States caused his green card to be flagged for further review. Certain groups face higher risk under these stricter enforcement measures. Retired green card holders who divide their time between the United States and their home countries are among the most vulnerable. Individuals who travel abroad to care for sick or elderly family members also face increased risk because immigration law generally does not provide exceptions for compassionate reasons. Employees assigned to long-term overseas work, students who return to their home countries for education or training, and individuals managing property or business interests outside the United States may also face greater scrutiny. To protect your status, maintaining clear and documented ties to the United States is extremely important. Immigration officers review several major factors when evaluating permanent residence. Physical presence in the United States remains the most important factor. Ideally, green card holders should spend more than half of each year physically present in the country. Your tax status is also critical. Filing U.S. taxes as a resident and reporting worldwide income demonstrates your commitment to maintaining the United States as your primary home. Employment location also plays a significant role. If your job requires you to work abroad for extended periods, it can weaken your residency claim. Officers also review where your spouse and children live, whether you own or rent property in the United States, whether you maintain U.S. bank accounts and credit cards, and whether you participate in community activities such as local organizations or maintain a U.S. driver's license and vehicle registration. If you know you must stay outside the United States for more than 6 months but less than 1 year, you should apply for a re-entry permit before leaving the country. A re-entry permit is an official document issued by USCIS that allows permanent residents to remain outside the United States for up to 2 years without automatically abandoning their residency. However, you must apply while physically present in the United States and complete your biometric appointment before leaving. Although this document does not guarantee approval when you return, it provides strong evidence that you intended to maintain your permanent resident status. It is also important to understand that a re-entry permit does not protect your continuous residence requirement for naturalization. If your goal is to become a U.S. citizen, you must still meet strict physical presence requirements, including spending at least half of 5 years physically present in the United States and generally avoiding absences longer than 6 months. If you are already outside the United States and your stay has exceeded 6 months because of emergencies or unexpected circumstances, you should return as soon as possible and prepare detailed documentation explaining your absence. This may include medical reports, employer letters, or property ownership records that demonstrate your continued connection to the United States. If you remain outside the United States for more than 1 year, your green card is generally no longer valid for entry, and you must apply for a returning resident visa known as an SB1 visa through a U.S. embassy or consulate. Approval requires strong evidence proving that your absence occurred due to circumstances beyond your control and that you always intended to return permanently. This process is difficult and approval is not guaranteed. Immigration Desk strongly recommends documenting your ties to the United States before any international travel, carefully tracking your time outside the country, applying for a re-entry permit when necessary, maintaining financial and residential connections in the United States, and consulting an immigration attorney if you have any doubts about your situation. Many green card holders incorrectly believe that returning before the expiration date printed on the green card guarantees safety. This is completely incorrect. The expiration date only applies to renewing the physical card and has nothing to do with maintaining permanent residency requirements. Conditional permanent residents who received green cards through marriage and are still within the 2-year conditional period face additional risks. If they remain outside the United States when their status expires, they may face difficulty filing the required petition to remove conditions, which could automatically terminate their residency. For individuals planning to apply for a green card, it is important to understand that permanent residency is not simply permission for unlimited travel while maintaining minimal ties to the United States. It requires a commitment to making America your primary and permanent home. The reality is that immigration enforcement in 2026 has become stricter than it has been in many years. Immigration officers now have stronger tools, better data access, and clearer instructions to enforce residency laws. These cases are not rare situations. They are happening daily at airports and border crossings throughout the United States. Immigration Desk remains committed to keeping you updated about every immigration change that affects your life and your family's future. Staying informed is your best protection. If this video helped you understand these new travel restrictions, please like and share it with anyone who holds or plans to obtain a green card. Subscribe to Immigration Desk and turn on notifications so you never miss important immigration updates. Share your personal situation in the comments so we can support each other during these changes. Remember, knowledge is your strongest protection when it comes to immigration status. Stay informed, stay compliant, and stay safe. This is Immigration Desk, and we will see you in the next video with more important immigration updates.